Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to episode 40 of my G-Senjou no Maou, or The Devil on G-String, Let's Read. Joining me, as always, is my co-reader Faith. Last episode, there was a bit of an issue with the interrogating of Saizhou. Unfortunately, his guards killed him. But it seemed to have worked anyways. Maou did not make a move at the competition. We also learned a bit about Kanon's past and her relationship with her mother, and it's not a great one, which is evident because when Kanon took to the ice for her free skate, she fell. Can she recover? We don't know. But please enjoy this next episode. A week passed. There was but one more week before the fateful Japan Championships. Kanon silently continued to practice. On the other hand, I attended school as usual, keeping myself busy with Izai Corporation matters. The night Kanon and I slept together almost seemed like a dream. We're acting so casual about the whole thing that I can't help to wonder if it was just my imagination.
That means you were bad.
Still, Kanon doesn't seem to have any regrets about it. She's back to her old smile and as selfish as ever. I promised myself that I would come to understand her, even if I was the only one. I see. Mao's kept quiet, huh?
Yeah, he's completely halted all activity.
I spoke with Usami between classes. You think Ikuko's television antics have made him extra cautious? I mean, she addressed comments about being marked for death.
Possible. If that were the case, one would think he'd just adapt his plans.
Yeah. Well, from the very beginning, we never knew what his true motives were.
I think he might have been trying to attack a friend of mine again, but
there's been absolutely no word from him. Well, if something were to happen, it would happen during the Japan Championships.
You think?
I can understand why she'd had her doubts. Look, the letter was aimed at bringing down Kanon. Last week, she was completely bested.
Yeah. Based on the contents of that threat letter, Mao's objective may have already been accomplished.
But it doesn't add up for you, does it? With a desolate face, she responds.
It's just my intuition, but I get this feeling that nothing else is going to happen.
Why?
Like I said, it's just my intuition. If I were Mao and I wanted to ruin Kanon, I wouldn't have let this week go to waste.
Fantastic! Shouldn't you be happy?
I guess. But it means I have to say goodbye to you, as I said.
Huh? She started with her crazy talk again.
Once the Demon Lord has been vanquished, the hero walks off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And you have Kanon now.
Wait, what?
Just my intuition.
She smiles peacefully.
I may not be Yuki, but I consider myself pretty sharp when it comes to you, as I said.
Ugh. Cut it out. You're giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, I'm out. Class just started.
Usami leaves me and disappears. What's up with her? Kyousuke! What's up with Kanon these days? Huh? Come on, man. You know as well as I do that she's been practicing. Yeah, whatever. But, you hear about that car company cutting their contracts with her? Yeah, I guess they were acting in their own self-interest. After Kanon got such a bad rep from the media, I guess it'll be a natural response for a business. Suckers! The whole fucking country is nothing but fuckers. Fair weather fans can suck my balls. They aren't necessarily fair weather fans. When you're popular, you're bound to make a few enemies. Bullshit, bro. Kanon's been a little brat all along. Christ, she pisses me off. I guess I should be glad the world sees her for what she really is now. But still. What about Seta? You watch the news, don't you? Her popularity shot through the roof. Oh man, and the special they ran yesterday almost killed me. It was one of those goddamn sob stories about how the person who worked hardest finally won and all that crap.
Well, she probably did work hard.
Yeah, no shit, right? Seta was awesome in the finals. She ran the same program as she did in the NHK trophy, but she replaced a double axel with a triple. Mohiko was shooting for the gold.
Mohiko? What?
That's what people are calling her on the net. I mean, come on, dude. She's ridiculously moe. Her personality, her voice, everything. Little Miss Princess Kanon just can't keep up.
The situation has completely reversed. I heard Kanon was dropped from a Christmas variety show. Supposedly Seta took her place.
I'm not surprised. Anyway, I'm still rooting for Kanon, so the fact that Seta's the new thing pisses me off.
Yeah, I read an article a while back that bothered me too. Some sleazy magazine went so far as to call Kanon the shame of Japan. All she can do is try to win the Japan Championships, right?
Screw trying to win. The only way she'll shut up all those shit talkers is to make worlds and absolutely crush second place.
We both let out a sigh. Class resumed that afternoon. However, I was reading an autobiographical essay rather than the required textbook, one written by Ikuko. There was an ad for Ikuko-san's surefire way of improving your bust sprawled conspicuously over the front cover. It was called A Proposal to Figure Skating. The book's supposedly about the inner mechanics of the industry. It touches briefly on the treatment of coaches and judges, the state of the current skating union, and her personal experience as a skater. Pretty cheap overall. First off, she bragged far too much about overseeing Kanon's growth as a skater. It made the book seem more like an outlet for her loneliness and a lingering attachment than anything else. The whole spiel came across as whining rather than actual criticism. For example, let's take this excerpt, the book's closing statement. I realized my lips were quivering as I read it.
Even so, Kanon-chan said she'd like to glide by my side. As both a mother and a coach, there's no greater honor in hearing these words.
Publishing this book crushed what little positive reputation she still had, as it should have. The only problem is that people have begun to expect the same from Kanon as from her mother. I can't help but wonder why Ikuko won't hold back, for Kanon's sake, if not her own. My mother had it rough, yet she protected me, despite all that. Ikuko-san enjoyed a good measure of popularity during her bout at the Olympics, so why did things turn out like this? Suspicion over Ikuko's change suddenly filled my thoughts, and without an ounce of coincidence, a certain man came to mind. Megalipses. Ellipses. I believe that concludes this week's report. The dispute with the Shinnei had been settled by the secession of most of their allotted business turf to the Sonoyama Group. I was tasked once more with the handling of formalities, aiding as the voice of the Azai Corporation, and a conduit through which to convey Gonzo's authority.
Ellipses.
Gonzo nodded, looking somehow discontent.
What about Kanon?
He suddenly sprung this question. As you know, her agent has informed us of a great number of cut contracts. Gonzo tilted his chin upward, as if he already knew all there was to say.
Is she finished?
Surely not. I immediately denied it. Success is many parts timing and luck. I believe abandoning our investment in Kanon after a single loss would be unwise.
That was more than just a loss.
Well, I faltered.
Kanon has grown into quite the shameless woman.
I hang my head, holding back my feelings. Feelings of sympathy for Kanon, contempt for Ikuko, and anger towards Gonzo, who molded Ikuko into the person she is now.
Anyway, Kyousuke.
Gonzo's mouth curved into a devious smile.
You tame Kanon yet?
I remember Gonzo's words. How am I supposed to respond to a scoundrel who demanded I sleep with his daughter? Yes. All I could say was that single unpleasant word. May I ask you a question, father? I prefaced my next words with a little submission. What kind of person was Ikuko-san? I miserably sputter the question before Gonzo's glare. His gaze clearly sees through my anxiety. Well, naturally. He crafted me to feel that way. He responds with indifference.
Ikuko was diligent, gallant, and incredibly hard worker. So, boy, do you have any idea how a beautiful athlete inside and out could fall for a brute like me?
I silently shake my head.
Women like to wrap their legs around evil for curiosity's sake.
With those words alone, I no longer wanted to envision how Gonzo had dropped her into the pits of hell.
Understand, Kyousuke? I found myself a good-looking whore. I fucked her. The kid that popped out seemed like she'd make some money.
It seemed as though he were challenging me to reprimand him. It appears that Ikuko-san resents you.
I bet.
She seems to believe that she was once a popular athlete, bathing in the limelight.
And after getting involved with me, her life was ruined.
There's the thing. Does she resent Kanon because the pregnancy would have caused trouble with the figure skating?
Yeah, that too. Gonzo hangs his head, as though he were trying to endure something. My eyes shot open in surprise at his dark laughter.
If this man doesn't end up shanked by the end of this weekend, I swear to God.
That's right, Kyousuke. It's all my fault.
He was proud of it.
So, how are you going to take me down? What's wrong? The very root of all evil stands bare before you.
Don't flatter yourself.
He demonstrates his defenselessness by kicking out his chest and lowering his outstretched arms.
Go on. Hit me. You're justified in this. You have every right to resort to violence here. After all, it's my fault your little sister is starved for affection.
I didn't even clench my fists. It was a testimony to my complete lack of fear. I felt nothing except the futility of competing with this man's moral code.
God, what a joke. If she were born so pathetic that being discarded by a man made her into such a fuck-up, then she was worthless from the start.
What a tenacious monster. Gonzo is basically saying that injustices are valid against the weak.
Listen up, Kyousuke. If you're going to be my son, then you'd best be prepared to embrace evil. Even if you have to deal in evil you're not familiar with, you can't just shy away from what needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
The same goes for Kanon. If she knows what being my daughter means, then she still has a chance of winning.
No one can change his way of thought. I leave Gonzo's house at the conclusion of this lecture. I've been broadening my knowledge on figure skating in my spare time lately. I'm still not on par with Iichi, but I've begun to understand the characteristics of a variety of jumps. I've got a ways to go until I can tell them apart in real time, though.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Kanon bursts through the front door, bouncing about.
Hey, you're reading another skating book. Good boy. It means you're interested in Nan-chan, right?
I suppose that's true.
Whew, I think I'll have a bath.
Kanon's been taking a bath as soon as she gets home these past few days. Thus, I've gotten into the habit of pouring one for her around the time she's supposed to get back. Needless to say, she hasn't come out of the dressing room naked since then. I confirmed that she was in the changing room, and I turned on the TV. The Japan Championships are coming up, so the sports news stations are focusing on figure skating. I've seen cannons fall on television countless times. What they draw attention to is not the fall itself, but the suspension of her performance thereafter, as well as her sulky attitude towards the press. Yeah, I'll grant it happened at a critical time, but you can't deny that there must be some underlying instability there that got the best of her. A retired figure skater that Kanon had been on good terms with commented on her performance regretfully. Seta, on the other hand, was practically being hailed as the second coming on just about every channel. It's apparent that the TV producers are trying to create a new idol. Whenever I see her on screen, I get this strange inclination to cheer for her. She was known for her consistency, but when such a skater hides simple, powerful technique like hers, the effect comes out to be even more awesome. Her step sequences are particularly good. Her serpentine, basically just a continuous S shape, tends to wow the judges and rack up the points. Even on the opening day of the finals, when Kanon took first place, Seta's step sequences score was higher. It just goes to show that flashy jumps aren't all there is to skating. The commenter finishes off with that. I hear a noise stir from the bathroom and turn off the television.
Nissa, I just realized I have no pajamas.
You just realized this?
Buy me some.
Sure, I'll pick up some tomorrow if I remember.
You're going to forget.
That's rude.
But I bet you forgot the things I told you about skating last year, didn't you?
No way, I remember. You said something about having to lose weight and such. And, you told me about that thing they got rid of because it didn't do too well on TV.
Compulsories?
Yeah, that one. I knew that. It's not really something to brag about.
I recommend that you see a doctor.
I already am. Dr. Akimoto. Come to think of it, our last session ended a bit abruptly. Did I say something to put him off? Our next appointment is tomorrow. Maybe I should talk to him about Kanon. Alright, let's hit the hay.
Oh, Nissa.
Hmm?
Christmas is just around the corner.
Yeah, the tournament starts on Christmas Day, right?
Awesome! You actually remembered something.
What about Christmas?
I don't have practice on Christmas Eve.
Really? That's nice. She'd have a tough time holding out if she didn't get a day of rest every now and then.
Hilton told me to spend the day with my family.
She spoke distantly as she smiled. All right, I'll make some time.
Yay! My first Christmas Eve with Nissa.
It will be, won't it? I guess we haven't spent much holidays together. I've always hated Christmas. Is there somewhere you'd like to go?
I'll leave that to you, of course.
It's a bit too late to make a hotel reservation.
Hotel reservations?
I slipped up. Oh, I meant restaurant reservations? I suddenly became aware of Kanon's femininity. Anyway, let me sleep on it. Maybe I'll come up with something good tomorrow.
Okay.
She looks up at me with upturned eyes.
Nissa, did you not like it?
She's talking about the night I slept with her. It was wonderful.
You really saved me that night, you know?
And I'll save you from here on out.
Does that mean you love me?
She boldly drove to the point. Yeah. As a sister, I plainly answered. I plainly lied. I have never fallen in love with a woman. Thus, I'm not sure what this interest stemmed from my sympathy really is. However, I was aware what responsibilities I'd have to face when I took her last week. I was prepared to tell any number of lies. Was that due to Gonzo's influence? If it makes Kanon happy, if it puts her mind at ease, if it saves her, I will not shy away from this evil.
Nissa.
Her eyes dimmed. Without another word, I embraced her. Kanon's body trembled slightly, and she entrusted herself to me. Christmas Eve, huh? With Kanon at my side, with my hands on her skin, I begin to look forward to the day which I only have bad memories of. Ellipses. Megalipses. The next morning, I go to see Dr. Akimoto as usual. I'm very sorry about last time. Don't worry about it. Akimoto smiles kindly. I got agitated, and I don't exactly remember what I said. I see. Like I said, it's no big deal. Though he says that, I can't help but notice Dr. Akimoto seems a little different today. There were several thick folders laying on his desk, and a laptop with a glowing LCD sat on his lap. More prominently, though, his eyes were strained like he was a little nervous. Let's put my issues aside for today. Trying not to let Dr. Akimoto's aura concern me, I say, I'd like to consult you about my sister. Kanon-san? Dr. Akimoto likely knows about Kanon's current situation. You don't mind, do you? She's got a lot on her shoulders these days. Akimoto blinks a few times, murmurs, and nods. Very well. He closes his laptop. First, though, I'd like you to promise not to talk to anyone about this. That's in the job description. I figured. I tell him as much as I know about Kanon's upbringing, her figure skating talent, her relationship with her mother, and how having Gonzo as a father has been for her. Dr. Akimoto nodded a few times, taking notes every now and then. I see. She's quite troubled. I think she's starved of affection. If even you think that, then she must have quite the problem indeed. I may have grown up without a father, but I at least had a great mother. He nodded deeply. How is Kuko-san, ex-coach Kanasaki, acting towards Kanon-san these days? How is she acting? Is she taking her rage out on her? Is she being kind to her? She's kind. Well, I guess it would be more accurate to say she's spoiling her. Kanon talks about how Ikuko-san's always bending over backwards for her every whim. I'd imagine it's always been that way between them. Kanon-san started skating by being taught by her mother, correct? So it seems. I've only read books about it. But it seems Ikuko-san's coaching level isn't very high, and there were several occasions where she was nearly replaced by another coach. Yet she wasn't replaced until just recently. Why is that? Kanon's strong opposition to it, supposedly. But looking at their relationship, that's hard to believe. You think Kanasaki is lying, don't you? He tilts his head, pondering. Has Kanon-san ever tried to switch coaches on her own? I tried to come up with something, but I couldn't put my thoughts into words. No, I don't think so. Or if it did happen, it was covered up. Then again, I suppose that's unlikely. The All Japan Figure Skating Union has been a little short with Ikuko-san recently, after all. I guess what we're left with is that Kanon kept quiet about it and accepted her mother's lies. Oh? Akimoto suddenly looked at the clock. Kyousuke-kun, I believe our hour is over. Huh? Already? That was quick. Do you mind if we extend it? What? His usual phony smile reverted back to a genuine expression for just a moment. I'd love to, but I have an engagement with an acquaintance. I swear, it'll only be a minute. I'll pay for the extra time, of course. Akimoto stares into me. I'm surprised. For you to say something like that. Ellipses. Alright, if you want to talk, let's talk. And you don't have to pay. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I bow my head. Well then, I'll cut to the chase and give you my thoughts. But take it with a grain of salt, you hear? To give a proper medical opinion, I'd need some more data, analysis, and time. He takes a glance at the numerous folders scattered about his desk. It looks like Dr. Akimoto had planned an important talk about me today. Your sister is a very kind girl. He declares this with a serious look. She can't force herself to like her mother, but she wants to meet her expectations anyway. Skating isn't something she likes or dislikes. It's just something she does out of obligation. If she wins, her mother will be happy. On one hand, this makes her think, then I'll work harder. And on the other, why do I have to let myself be used by this show-off? He must have spoken too much at once, as he takes a few breaths afterwards. I can say with some degree of certainty that her act in front of the television cameras stems from her mother's influence. It just goes to show that parents can ruin their children by spoiling them too much. The world makes such a fuss about child abuse, but the other side of poor parenting is much more common and equally harmful to the maturing psyche. People pamper others because they don't want to be hated. Kanasaki-san is a former figure skater. She spent her life worrying about how people see her. Even after retiring, she must still be trying desperately to keep up appearances. Imagine how a child will turn out if she grows up watching her only parent act like that. Surely you see my point, Kyousuke-kun. I nod deeply. She's probably decided never to submit to anyone, never to admit she's wrong. And she knows it's wrong to be that way. She knows, but she can't just help herself. She's lost. Akimoto-san, how can I help, Kanon? I was honestly happy. A girl whom the world had taken to calling hopelessly selfish had just been praised as kind. You're a kind person too, deep down, aren't you? What's he going on about now? Confront your sister. Explain that she shouldn't act selfishly. All right. Don't say stop being selfish or people will hate you. She'll likely despise that sort of thing. Teach her that there are better ways of making people happy than being selfish. That should appeal to her, seeing as how she wants to make her mother, whom she hates, happy. Dr. Akimoto bitterly looks down at his plump stomach. Sorry for being so abstract. No, you've been very helpful. I express my gratitude once again. From the looks of things, you had more important things to talk about, and here I was, going on about Kanon. Huh, this mountain of folders? Don't worry about it. They just became useless anyway. Huh? Oh, I just feel that this chat has been particularly useful in my treatment of your case. He smiled contentedly. The data I'd been collecting here was misdirected, apparently. But with all those documents... Dr. Akimoto stands up from his chair. Lo and behold, there are more precious things to you than time and money. That's the best news I've heard in a long, long time. He smiles like the Buddha and sees me to the door. Late again, eh, Kyousuke? As usual. Don't worry about it. Huh? His jaw drops as he stares blankly at me.
You got one hell of a goofy smile today, bro.
I do?
What, you get a new girl or something?
It's nothing like that.
Yeah, whatever.
I looked around and noticed we were missing a few people. Where's Tsubaki? She said she had student council work. The year's almost over, so I guess she's busy with something. What about Usami? I don't know. Sleeping somewhere, probably. Who cares? Well, whatever. Hey, Ichi, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Why are you being so businesslike? Your dad owns a few hotels, right? Full shizzle. You're lying, aren't you? No way, bro. If you think I'm lying, I'll get you a free night. He totally fell for it. All right, Then let's see it. Huh? Really? Yeah. Get me a room on the 24th.
Hell fucking no!
His eyes flare up. I'll pay. Don't worry about it. Get me the suite, though. Would you?
What the fuck, dude? Do you even realize what the hell you're asking me to do?
I know. It's unreasonable.
If it were any normal day, I could just ask my dad and that'd be that. But that's not a fucking normal day now, is it?
Nope. It's my birthday.
Huh? Really?
Are you pulling this?
Yeah. No.
Is that what this is about? You looking to get a birthday BJ from your new bitch?
Something like that.
God damn it, dude. You and your unreasonable demands.
Will you at least let me have lunch there?
I might be able to do something about lunch.
Might, huh?
Well, who is this chick? Some girl you picked up on Central Boulevard?
Yeah.
Someone I know?
No.
You ain't shitting me, are you? It better as hell not be Tsubaki or Asami or anything. You're pretty friendly with them these days, you know what I mean?
They'd be offended if they heard you say that. Anyways, I'm counting on you.
Yeah, whatever. Just don't expect too much.
Don't worry. I know not to expect too much from you. It's close to 10, and I'm at the skating arena. Hey, Kanon, over here!
Oh, hey Nissa, what's up?
She runs over to me with a happy face. I came to pick you up.
Wow, what awesome service.
Yeah, I just realized today that you've been walking halfway across town at night all by yourself.
Nah, Coach escorted me.
Oh, I see.
But I'd much rather have you do it from now on.
At that moment, I hear Ukuko-san's voice from afar, and I wave to her.
What's up, Kyousuke-kun?
Oh, I was just close by, and I thought I'd pick up Kanon.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to do that.
She waves her hand apologetically. I found my eyes attracted to the 1.5 million yen watch on her wrist. I read your book recently. For example, a judge only gets paid 5,000 yen for each day of work. The figure skating world is something you can't stay with day in, day out, unless you really love it.
You did? I'm flattered.
It was very informative. It seems like sales are starting to pick up again recently, too.
I'll warn you, the editor took quite a few liberties he shouldn't have.
I'll take that to mean she wanted to say a lot more than she did.
I'm going to write another one, so be sure to mark its release date on your calendar when it's done.
In other words, you're going to publicly shame yourself not once, but twice? I definitely will. Well, Kanon, let's head out.
Sure.
She takes a glance at her mother.
Go ahead, Kanon. Let your brother take you home.
Kanon nods and follows me. How was practice today?
Mr. Hilton chewed me out.
We meandered along the winter streets while I listened to Kanon talk about her day.
But Mr. Hilton's not a bad guy. Everything he said was absolutely true.
I hear this Mr. Hilton guy can still do jumps at his age. He's really something else, huh?
Yeah, everyone respects him.
But he's a little soft on Ikuko-san, isn't he?
I guess. He goes out of his way to make sure she knows the day's training schedule.
Well, it's understandable. The man probably feels like he stole her job. Has anyone talked about changing your free skate program since the finals? The musical selection doesn't really suit Kanon.
Yeah, not a whole lot though.
Let me guess, Ikuko-san picked that piece. Kanon pursed her lips.
You're oddly interested in Nanchan today.
She laughs complacently.
Yeah, you got it. Hit the nail right on the head.
You didn't refuse it?
I figured it'd be alright.
Oh, jeez.
Mr. Hilton didn't say anything, so why not?
Well, if your coach approves of it.
What, you don't think it suits Nanchan?
It just doesn't sit right with the audience. What do you think about it?
It doesn't suit me at all.
She slumps.
I mean, I didn't get a single point for interpretation.
Then you can't afford to say, why not?
Yeah, I guess. Who knows, maybe I fell last time because of that song.
Look, Kanon, I choose my words carefully. A mistake is a mistake. You can't change the program now, so just give it all you've... Is it alright just to say give it all you've got? It's alright to say give it all you've got to someone who isn't giving all they've got. But to tell someone who's giving 120% to give all they've got is pushing them.
I know. I just have to buck up and do it.
I couldn't understand her state of mind at all. It vexed me. Anyways, it's a little early just to go to sleep. Want to do something?
Oh, totally. You're so sweet today.
What do you want to do? Play a game or something?
I can't do anything that might hurt my eyes. I'm always looking at the sparkly ice as it is.
Alright.
How about obey the king?
You'll just end up being the king the whole time. Chess?
There's no way I can beat you at chess.
Apparently, Kanon's guaranteed victory is a precondition to playing.
I don't just play around all day like you. Nanchan is a serious person.
Oh, come on. I don't play around all day either. After I say that, she frowns.
Then what were you planning on doing with some girl in a hotel room on the 24th?
Huh?
A-chan texted me about it. You asked him to get a room for you, didn't you?
You guys are pretty friendly with each other when I'm not looking.
Well, it's not like I care.
I put my hands on Kanon's shoulders as her downcast eyes frame her loneliness. You're the girl, Kanon.
Who?
Like I said, you're the girl. The hotel room was for the two of us. She bites her lips in a flutter and clenches her fist a few times.
Oh,
Her cheeks redden.
I see.
Don't tell Ichi.
Okay.
She merrily runs into the kitchen.
Nanchan will kick you a magnificent, marvelous dinner today.
She looks happy.
Do you think with how much she trains that she would have to eat more than normal people? Just to maintain her weight?
She might.
Well, I mean, they talk about constantly needing to lose the weight and stuff, but like Michael Phelps was eating, what, 5,000 calories every meal just to keep up with his training?
It's 5,000 calories of the right stuff.
Well, yeah, the right stuff. But the way they phrase it makes it seem like she's trying to diet. I don't think diets would do the best for someone so active all day.
There's diets to lose weight. There are diets to gain weight.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Megalipses. Ellipses. Sorry for calling you so suddenly. Don't worry about it, Maou. It's the least I could do after what you did last week. Somiya was in a good mood, as expected. It really was quite dramatic. To think that Azai Kanon, who took so much pride in her tremendous popularity, would tumble to obscurity so quickly. And I presume you were the one behind Seta's image boost in the following days? It took some buttering up of one of the channel producers, though. But still, it was nothing. Seta's efforts were the real deal, so it wasn't that difficult. That's fantastic. Leave the rest to me. I've already made my move for the Japan Championships. Somiya looked cheerful. I've got to come clean here. I didn't do a thing to Kanon. What was that? I nodded with a faint smile. My final job with you ended with a mere attempt. Final? Somiya's brows knitted in apprehension. I called you here to say goodbye. What? He gasped, then fell silent. I'm sure his sly brain was busy trying to search for the reason. Rest easy, my friend. I wasn't recruited by the competition, or anything like that.
Then why?
Let's just call it medical leave.
You mean what you were saying before about your headaches?
Yeah, something like that.
So you're going to completely wash your hands of this business?
Indeed. From this day on, the name Maou will cease to be whispered among the people of this city.
I see.
He heaved a dramatic sigh.
I'm sure trying to investigate you would just turn out to be a waste of our time.
I will disappear. Something deep inside me told me as much. The right hand had no idea what the left was doing. If you wanted to come up with an analogy, it'd probably be something like that. But that's all behind me now. Somiya just tilted his head in doubt. The man who has lived on until now with evil as his nourishment has discovered a new sustenance.
A new sustenance?
I couldn't help but laugh. I continued to laugh foolishly, a laugh that came from the depths of my stomach. Love. And then my headache struck again. This will likely be the last one. My consciousness slowly dimmed, and darkness consumed me. Megalipses. Ellipses.